Hello everyone, in this video we will basically finish shading this desert. First things first, I want to have different color for those like lower parts. Also, if you remember, we added this rock module right here. So it is important also to consider this or actually to color those rocks with their own material. So in general, we will be creating 3 different colors or 3 different setups. One for the sands that are on the top, one for the wet sand, and the other one is meant for the rocks. We're not going to create another material, it's all going to happen right here. So let's just get back to our camera view by hitting 0. And what I'm going to do is, first of all, is to change the base color. And for the base color, let's just maybe change it to something. All right, this part is always annoying finding the right color. So I guess I'm just gonna use the value that I used for the trailer, which is basically this code right here. So I will hit Ctrl C and just basically put it right here. And actually I'm gonna use a really useful trick that I learned, which is basically by adding a Fresnel to drive this Principled BSDF, which will create some really nice effect on those dunes. So we'll add a Fresnel. I will put it right here, and I will add a mix node, search, mix, and put it right here. And I will plug the factor into the color 1. Move your cursor or above this color and hit Ctrl C to copy this color, and go right here and hit Ctrl V. And what I want to do is basically to take this color and just plug it right here. And notice that it's kind of give some more life to this desert, those kind of creating some darker parts. So for the metallic, I will keep it at 0. I will also drop my specular up to 0. And also for my roughness, I will just take it to 0. And we have this result. Let's maybe also add 0.6 just to make the effect that is coming from the color 2 a little bit more intense and reduce the effect of the Fresnel. This setup will be used for the upper parts. Now we need to create another variation of this shader, which will be the darker parts. So what I'm gonna do is select all of this setup and just hit Shift D and put it down here. Maybe move both of them up. And all what I'm gonna do is basically to just make this color as a little bit darker. So click on it and just make it a little bit darker, just slightly. This will be good for now. And to see what does this look like, just hit Control Shift and click on it. And yeah, it is just the same shader, just a little bit darker. And for this one, I will maybe bring the roughness a little bit up. Maybe let's just say 0.8. And what I need to do is to mix those two shaders, not the mix RGB. We're working with shaders, so we need to use mix shaders. Shift A, mix shader, and put it right here. Take the first and plug it here. Take the second and put it right here. And click Ctrl Shift on the mix shader to see the final result. Now, as you probably remembered, I said that I want the dark parts to be right here and the light parts to be on the top. But this is not happening. The main reason for that is that Blender natively doesn't know, like, hey, this guy wants the dark parts right here and the light parts on the top. So how to tell Blender to do such thing? It is actually super easy by adding a factor, which basically will tell Blender where to use each setup. To create this setup, I will try to explain it as easy as possible. It might feel for a second a little bit too complex, but it is actually not. So what I'm gonna do, first of all, let's add a texture coordinate, but it is not meant for coordinate, it is actually meant for geometry. So I will add a node that is called geometry. This node will basically give us information about the position of basically the real vertices of the geometry. And I want to distribute those two textures based on the position of them. The ones that are here will be dark, the ones that are here will be light. So what is the axis that control what is up and down? It is the Z axis. So I will go Shift A and add separate X, Y, and Z. The main reason, because I only want to work with the Z axis. I will plug the position into the vector and let's see what does the Z axis looks like. Notice that it is basically giving us the parts that are really low. What I want to do right now is to add a math node, math, and put it right here, and I will change it to multiply. The main reason I'm adding this multiply node is to add more contrast to the separate X, Y, and Z, or remove more contrast from it. So maybe let's just drop it a little bit down. That's too much. Maybe something like 0.2. Yeah, that's nice. So it is like more even distributed. If I mute this node by hitting M, this is the before. There is not much details on those areas that are right here. But if I hit M again, notice that we added more black, which means that more of those wet parts will be right here. And yeah, now we can basically take this multiply and just plug it into the factor. And let's see how it look like. And as you can see straight right now, it is inverted. The parts that are dark, they are on the top, and the parts that are light, they are on the bottom. So how to invert that? I will go Shift A and add a color ramp and just go here and flip color ramp. The last thing we want to do right now is basically to add another color to the small rocks that are on the surface. And to do that, let's just take this setup right here and let's just add a diffuse BSDF. We don't need principal BSDF. Let's just add a diffuse BSDF, put it right here. And I will copy the same color, Control C, and put it right here, Control V, and I will make it darker. This will basically become the color of the rocks, maybe even a little bit darker. And one important thing right now, we need to mix the color of the rocks with the rest of the shader. How to do such thing? Mix shader, you guessed it. So let's put it right here. And why it's not connected? Yep, it is connected right now. And let's plug the second one right here. And as you probably know, Blender right now is using 50% of this color and 50% of the other setup. The main reason for that is that we need to tell Blender where to put the color of the rocks. If you remember, we created actually a node network, which is meant for the rocks. So if we take the positions or actually the setup of those rocks, all we have to do is basically to just plug it into the factor. I will maximize this editor and I will just take this value and just plug it into the factor right here. And let's see how it will look like. Let's just hit 0. Probably nothing is visible right now. You might see a little stuff that are going right here. And actually we need to bring a little bit more contrast to it. That's why we don't see it clearly. So let's hit Shift A, color ramp, put it before the mix shader, and let's just basically increase the contrast to something like this. Yeah, that's way better. Notice that we created the illusion of small rocks right now. That's it for this video, guys. We basically finished creating the whole desert. In the next video, we will fix the world lighting of the scene and light it for the final render. See you there.